Welcome to CLIC Connect. I'm your host, Craig Sullivan. Today, I've got my good friend, Jenny Redlin. She is the driving force behind partner engineering and science. Jenny, welcome to the show, and how are you?
I'm doing as well as can be expected in the current environment. But, hey, it's we keep on trucking over here, so.
I bet. Now, I know that you are probably at the busiest you've been in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, if you had asked me in April, I would have told, I would have thought the world was ending, deal volume was down significantly. And then all of a sudden in August, just everyone woke back up and got back to doing deals again. And we have since then been recording historical record numbers in deal volume for our company ever, not just pre-COVID. But yeah, it's just insane how busy we were getting.
And for those of you that might not know of Jenny's firm, Partner Engineering and Science is a national group. So, granted, the folks of this show is California, but you can engage with Jenny and her team anywhere in the country, Alta surveys, phase 1, phase 2, and a plethora of other services that you offer. Are you getting a lot of demand right now from the lenders that are stress testing their portfolios and getting ready to do any type of default sales or note sales?
Sure,
Jenny?
Yeah. So, no, I thought by fall I was going to be in pre-foreclosure land and kind of repeat, my 2008 days. But no, not quite yet. We in fact, the first portfolio pre-foreclosure for a major lender I just bid this week. It was a nationwide hotel portfolio of about 30 sites. But as far as the other product types, no, we have not seen that yet. I think everything is still in their forbearance period. And we will expect to see at least some of that probably, they're guessing second quarter of next year at this point.
Next year, yeah. Multifamily's been the favorite child for a number of years now. What's happening on the multifamily side? Just to give us a flip side of the coin.
Yeah, sure. So, while our hotel side of the business is down significantly, as you might figure, the multifamily is hot. Fannie, Freddie, HUD, all of those lending platforms are firing on all cylinders. A lot of it's probably refinancing because of the rates are so low. A lot of it's acquisition though, too. A lot of folks are out there. There's a lot of still dry powder on the sidelines wanting to buy things, and multifamily is still the darling.
Well, let me ask you something. Are you working with our friends over at Pasco at all? Because they're buying multifamily assets, communities all across the country right now. And I know that Stacy Steeman over there. She's been at the California Lodging Investment Conference. So if you're not, you should be. But I'm thinking you're probably working with them as it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but groups like Pasco, Starwood Capital is out there. Starwood's buying a ton of portfolios. You name it. Everyone's kind of out there in the marketplace, just as if nothing happened.
Yeah. Now, are you seeing any activity on conversions? People, we've got a boatload of hotels that closed down in Manhattan. We've still got a ton of them in San Francisco that may or may not come back as hotel assets. And I think you're probably going to see the same thing in the vertical parts of Los Angeles and San Diego counties as well. So what are you seeing and hearing in those markets?
Sure. While I have had discussions with kind of architectural groups that I work with about, the possibility of kind of repurposing some of the hotel assets, I have worked with some clients that are thinking about that. But that I think is still a little ways out. They haven't quite figured out how they would do that, or whether or not they would necessarily need to. I think a lot remains to be seen.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. We keep getting reports out of Manhattan that, these hotels are closed permanently and they're never coming back. And I think that was just a bit of doom and gloom that was, if you're trying to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, maybe, but, it's hard to say. And I mean, some of those footprints really aren't going to lend themselves to conversion to multifamily or to office necessarily, especially if it's an older building. What are you seeing on the office side? I mean, that market scares me. I mean, we were having a little bit of a discussion before we started talking. I think that's a bubble that's going to collapse and have an adverse impact on commercial real estate.
I think so too. I think that just kind of goes back to the hotel sector not quite having the foreclosures yet. I think we're going to see that in the office market too. I think people are downsizing. People realize that they could work from home successfully. Right. I know for us, we're a 900-person firm with 40 offices nationwide, and we did a survey of our folks and said, look, even, pretend COVID's completely over. Do you want to come back to the office? Only 15% of our folks said they would come back. Yeah. Wow. 15%. So we are certainly reevaluating our own use of office space. Yeah. So if we're any indicator, I imagine everyone else is too. So.
Well, you've got so much out of those 900 employees. Are you talking 700 plus that are actually out in the field and travel and site visits and all of that?
Yeah, sure.
And 200 or so that are basically tethered
to
the
corporate,
office. So,
tethered to the office, never out of the office. I'd say that's about the breakdown. But they though they are doing site visits, they still have to write the reports. So they would go back into the office to do that task. And now I think they're finding, it's just easier for me just to go home and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, if you've always been at the forefront, your team has always been very progressive, and they've been a team. That's one of the things I really like about your organization. So, if you find that, we don't need all this office space, okay, you know what? We're going to divide each office into teams. You guys have got access to the office on certain days, and the other teams have got, what's left to kind of go from there. And
this was a big topic. We just had our executive meetings last week, and this was a huge topic for us because two of the things that we think are super important to have physical office space is culture and training. And those two things are incredibly hard to do remotely. And so we've talked, like you said, about different ways to do that. In fact, we've talked about using hotels as an alternative to doing that and renting hotel space and conference room space instead,
I'll help you with that.
Yeah. So because we still think it's important. Our culture is incredibly important to partner. We pride ourselves for being the best home for talented professionals in our field. And we find that means being able to talk to your peers about the projects that you're working on and being able to bounce ideas off of people. And that's hard to do when they're not just sitting across the way from you.
Very much so. Jenny, unfortunately, we are out of time. So I thank you for being part of the conversation. Jenny is the record holder, and she's been on more of my shows than anybody else. And this is why, because she's always delightful and has got great information. So Jenny, how can everybody get a hold of you and maybe you and partner for a few jobs?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you need help with any of your due diligence as you guys start looking at these deals, we're full service environmental engineering, energy consulting, seismic for those of you in California, construction risk management services as well. I can be reached via email at Jenny, Jenny, at partneresi.com. Or my direct line is 310-765-7243.
And come see Jenny. She's doing double duty at CLIC. It looks like she's probably going to be moderating our brand panel. So that's going to be fun for her.
All right.
And we're going to have a very informative day. We've got a lot to talk about. So we will see you at CLIC. And until the next episode, aloha.
Thank you.